Wide receiver Ahmad Rashad was the 4th overall draft pick in 1972. He was known as Bobby Moore then. More about this later. This video showcases the struggles he went through before becoming a superstar wide receiver with the Vikings. Rashad holds 2 NFL records. One of them can never be broken. This 98-yard non-scoring play from scrimmage during Week 13 of the 1972 season. The other record is one that has stood since 1974. Most touchdowns, unrecovered fumbles in a single season with 2. Busch Stadium in St. Louis was his home field in 1972 and 1973, but ironically it was Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, the stadium in which he was best known for playing, where he caught the first 2 touchdowns of his NFL career. In Week 4, the Vikings were 14-point favorites to win, but former Vikings quarterback cast-off Gary Cuozzo and the then-named Bobby Moore twice hooked up for touchdown connections in a stunning 19-17 upset win over the Vikings. Bobby Moore was 6'2", 212 pounds when drafted by the Cardinals, 4th overall in the 1972 NFL Draft. In 1971, he made the Sporting News College All-America team as a running back. In 1970 and 1971, he ran for 2,135 yards, while he received passes that totaled 779 yards. In 1969, as a wide receiver, he caught 54 passes for 10 touchdowns, which were big numbers back then. NFL Hall of Famer Dan Fouts was Oregon's quarterback in 1970 and 1971 and helped Moore to break 3 school records: most career rushing yards, most career receptions, and most career points scored. Quarterback Jim Hart started his 2nd straight game in Week 13 after a mostly inactive season prior to that. He hit Moore on a 41-yard scoring play and threw for 334 yards on the day. In 1973, number 28 and speedy number 85 wide receiver Mel Gray were joined by electrifying rookie running back Terry Metcalf. Before the 1973 training camp opened, Moore changed his name to Ahmad Rashad. In Week 5, he lit up the Eagles with 9-yard and 65-yard touchdown receptions. "I don't know what to think," said Rashad in an Associated Press interview in October 1973. Quote, "But I went from a starter one day to the bench the next, and the whole thing coincided with my name change. The people in St. Louis booed me when I was introduced as Ahmad Rashad." He didn't play at all in Week 1 and didn't start until Week 4. One Cardinals wide receiver who did play in Week 1 was Hall of Fame great Don Maynard. He caught 1 pass for 18 yards. At the time, Maynard was the all-time leading receiver in AFL and NFL history in both receptions and yards. After playing 13 years for the New York Titans and New York Jets, head coach and general manager Weeb Ewbank traded him to the Cardinals for a future draft pick. He played in Week 2, didn't catch a pass, and was waived. In 1974, he caught 5 passes for the World Football League's Houston Texans / Shreveport Steamer, and at age 39 he retired. On January 26, 1974, the Cardinals traded Rashad to the Buffalo Bills. The Cardinals received an unhappy quarterback in Dennis Shaw, who didn't start any games in 1973, threw 4 interceptions with 0 touchdowns. Shaw had been the 1970 Offensive Rookie of the Year, but lost the starting job to rookie Joe Ferguson. The 1973 Bills were a running team. They ran for 3,088 yards and only passed for 997 yards. O.J. Simpson was the focal point of the offense. But when teams slowed down O.J., Ferguson connected with Rashad more times than any other player, 36, which doesn't seem like much, but it was the 14th most in the AFC that year. The 1974 Bills had a former number 1 draft choice at tight end, Paul Seymour, who was drafted 7th overall in the 1973 draft. The Bills had a third former number 1 draft pick in their starting receiving corps, wide receiver J.D. Hill. He was selected with the 4th overall pick in 1971. Hill had 32 catches in 1974, the first year that the Bills made the playoffs since their 1966 squad. The future looked bright for 1975, but Rashad suffered a knee injury in the final preseason game of 1975 and missed the entire season. Rashad played out his contract option with Buffalo in 1975 and signed a free agent contract with Seattle on May 27, 1976. On September 7th, he was traded to Minnesota for a 1977 fourth-round draft pick, who ended up being Tennessee wide receiver Larry Severs, who did not play in the NFL. Rashad flunked his physical examination due to a gimpy knee and was about to be released when quarterback Fran Tarkenton came to the rescue. He lobbied hard with head coach Bud Grant to keep him on the team, and Grant agreed. It was a very wise choice because Rashad's career exploded. In Week 4, Rashad got his first start, and in Week 7 at Philadelphia, he caught his first touchdown pass as a Viking. Drugs were becoming a problem in the 1970s, and Rashad was quoted as saying, "I read where my old Viking teammate Carl Eller came out and said that one of the reasons he got caught up in drugs was because they gave him something comparable to the high that he got from sacking a quarterback. I find that hard to believe. I think that the players who have drinking or drug problems got messed up because of what is missing in their lives 7 days a week, not just on Sunday afternoons. Being part of a team and making a sack or catching a touchdown pass, that gives you a high beyond all others. Nothing artificial can replace it." Thanks to the brilliant quarterbacking of Fran Tarkenton, Rashad made his first of 4 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances in 1978. In 1978 and 1979, he had the most passing targets in the NFL each year. In 1977 Week 14's game, Bob Lee substituted for an injured Tarkenton and hit Rashad for a 48-yarder. His 8 catches and 139 receiving yards were both season highs. Rashad said, "Linebackers are the strangest guys of all. They go against human nature. They're people who just plain love to run into things. They'll hit you as you go by them the other way people shake hands. Before a game a couple of years ago, I got carried away. To this day, I don't know what got into me, but it was an important game. The band was playing, the fans were cheering, and I looked over and saw all the linebackers warming up, banging into each other the way they do, and I rushed up to Scott Studwell and yelled, 'Come on, baby, give me a shot.' And he did. He hit me so hard on my shoulders that my feet went numb. And you know how far your feet are from your shoulders. This 1980 Week 15 game is the one that Rashad is best known for. He caught this 12-yard pass in the fourth quarter to make the score 23-22 Browns. Rashad had 9 catches for 142 yards on the day. Of the final play of the game, head coach Bud Grant said, "That was a make-up play, a sandlot play. We drew it up on the field." A desperation pass by Tommy Kramer was tipped by Brown safety Tom Darden and plopped into the left hand of Rashad, who backed the final yard into the end zone for the victory that sent the Vikings into the NFC playoffs as division champions. So how did Rashad fare in 7 playoff games? In 1974, he caught 1 pass for 25 yards against the Steelers. He caught 7 passes for 116 yards in 3 1976 playoff games. In 1977, against the Rams and Cowboys, he caught a total of 5 passes for 55 yards. In 1978, against the Rams, he caught 7 balls for 84 yards and 1 touchdown. In 1980's game against the Eagles, Rashad caught 1 pass for 23 yards. Even though the Vikings didn't win any Super Bowls, Ahmad Rashad gave Minnesota fans plenty of thrills. At the time of his retirement, his 495 career catches was tied 12th all-time for the most. Of the 11 players who had more, 8 are Hall of Famers.